but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I also am known. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, BTB. Conversating with the man just so it don't feel Without further ado, this is a new episode of BTB Reacts. No alarm, no alarm. BTB Swaggy will be back, but the show must go on in the meantime. So you got to deal with your man Johnny Bring the Bass, also known as BTB Griller. Charleston White apologizes to Gilly the Kid and talks Trump, Kanye, Brittany Renner, and all that other good stuff on the Jason Lee show. We gonna see what this is talking about. Charleston White always got something, a viral moment up his sleeve, and he got a lot to say behind those viral moments. So let's go ahead and get into it.
This next guest is somebody that the entire world that lives on Beyonce's good internet knows.
Man, I was a little bit intimidated to come sit with Jason Lee. Kill your mama, suck my bitch. That's what feeds the algorithm.
Do you think slavery was a choice?
Yeah, I ain't taking that back.
Oh, I can feel the internet right now.
You and your dead baby.
You pepper sprayed Soulja Boy.
Yeah, you goddamn right I makes that.
You said that Sexy Red was a hoe.
Stomp down, dirty leg hoe. Veins were about to explode out my penis.
When you said the Chinese people,
Yeah, I'm that petty.
you were cheating on.
Y'all cheating on my wife. That's an old riding hoe. Man, I'm gonna be honest.
You think men that paint their fingers are sissies?
You want me to say this on camera?
Absolutely.
Well,
Charleston is not afraid to go viral.
go viral or die.
If it's real, what you believe, what you don't, because what I do know for sure is we have lots of intersections of similarities. You had said something somewhere where you said somebody had asked you, why you say all these wild, crazy things, and you said that's how I get these niggas' attention.
Yeah.
And it stopped me that day because I really feel like when I share my story of how I got into the game, I had to get people's attention, being very honest in a brutal way, not as brutal as you sometimes, but brutal. And that was the thing that kind of stuck with people. So that hit me in a way because I never seen you say that.
In 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, I wouldn't dare use the word nigga on social media publicly. Because I was a youth advocate, working, partnering, in training the state's Texas Juvenile Justice Department. So I'm raised in a household where the word nigga is not used. That's a term that it's a term that you don't use. But hip hop and culture-wise, it's a term that we embrace. So even as a man, I was conflicted with what I believe culturally and what I was trying to evolve away from boy to man, right? So it became my outlet, right, to get on here and talk like an ignorant motherfucker, suck my dick, because that's the lyric of the rapper, right? And what made me realize that is because I grew up when gangster rap first came. We both 1977 babies, right?
Yeah.
So when Eazy-E in the song We Want Easy, there's a questionnaire where they say, hey, Easy, why do you wear your pants like that? I wear my pants like this because it's easy access, baby. Easy, why do you talk like this? He says, I talk like this to get my point across. Now think about that. Mm-hmm. It's no difference when grandmother or mom or mother and them come in and say, hey, when I leave here, I want you to wash the dishes. I want you to go cut the grass. I want you to do this. She say it nicely the first time, and we typically ignore that. But if she come in and say, get y'all mother, if I'm gonna whoop your goddamn ass, boy, you jump up and go to getting it then. So I understand that form of psychology in vernacular when presenting my presentation to the world. I started out before I came to the internet public speaking. My public speaking then went to motivational speaking. So by the time I got to the internet, I had already been through community college. I was about to drop out in college as a pre-law student at Texas Western University. So I had studied theater and arts, drama, professional speech, introduction to speech. So I just brought all that to the internet. So that's why it seems like the character is so conflicting, because it's all in one. I can't come tell the truth 100% of the time. It's just like the teacher can't just really teach to our kids. They have to put some form of music or arts or fun to learning. So I just brought that to the internet, but in a villain-fine way. I wanted to be a villain.
Now that there has been what we have been seeing. We have been seeing what he just said in practice. Him using that vernacular and all that stuff of the streets, the language of the streets, to get a point across. I can't lie. I kind of I understand that psychology of that too, and I definitely agree that that's how it works. Right now, for sure, it might work like that for a long time. But what y'all think about that? That shit was deep. That was deep. Sometimes you gotta break down the little shit, man. Be the little shit that mean the most.
But why did you? So you intentionally want to be a
villain? Yeah, I
villain?
want to be a villain because this what I know from studying our culture. We all start out loving all our favorite celebrities, only to end up hating them. I watched us. I'm a Michael Jackson baby.
I'm a Michael Jackson.
But we turned on Mike in the end.
Yeah.
When all those allegations came, we started calling Mike crazy, and when he was wearing the mask. We turned on Whitney in the end when she stayed too long with Bobby, and we felt like she should have left Bobby. So we turned on all of our greats. So I said, man, I get them to hate me, and eventually they'll love me in the end, because they're gonna realize who I am in real life. So I can come online and come play something that I'm not in real life, right?
See, this is interesting, because I've told the story many times in interviews, even on my own show and interviewing Floyd. When I first came into the game wanting to unlock Hollywood, I thought, hey, there needs to be a platform that shows black culture in a way that mainstream doesn't. So I'm gonna be their favorite platform to go to. It didn't happen like that. And Floyd said, stop trying to be everybody's friend and just be a savage, because the savage always wins. I thought, well, I don't want to be a savage, because sometimes it feels uncomfortable to have to be a savage. But the minute I started saying what I thought, I mean, it almost seemed like a magnet. It sucked the industry in. Why is it that way in our culture, you think? And then do you believe, like I do, that we know how to cannibalize our own better than everybody else?
Of course we do. It's almost how we get ahead in America. We can't get ahead in America really uplifting other black people. And we're openly doing it. We can't, at every level of success that we get to, we openly as black people reach back down and pull other black people up by the masses. They'll close the doors on us.
They who? White folks or black people?
Black people. White people stopped being our enemies a long time ago.
Oh, I can feel the internet right now. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I truly believe that.
Why?
Because
Hold up. Before
capitalism has superseded racism.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that, as you know, if you're black, if you're white, whatever color you are, Asian, whatever, do you believe that when you see black people, when you see, you know, the black culture, that they're the biggest enemy right now? That we are our biggest enemy right now? It's interesting.
In America. So it's becoming more of nationalism, right? This is America. So that's why you see the Proud Boys, groups like that emerging, white ring conservatives. They're not talking racism, they're talking their country. We're stuck on racism.
Black folks, but people would say black people can't be racist.
We're stuck on the idea of being racist. We don't have the power to be.
The idea of the country and white people still being racist?
Yeah, so we're because we feel that we're owed something, whether there's reparations or we truly believe, and we are owed something, if we're gonna be honest, right? But there's a group that feels entitled. And that's the group that's hurting us, right? So the entitled group uses racism as an excuse, as a crutch, but they really don't know racism, because racism is really hidden in the fabrics of America, in bank loans, and why you can't access. So we see more prejudice than we do racism.
It's interesting. I was on a call today with a brand where I've been talking to this brand that everybody knows for 3 years about a partnership. And I said, you know what? I just want to understand you. When George Floyd died, all of you promised millions and billions of dollars investing in black-owned businesses, and you haven't done that. But you haven't told me that you don't want to do it, but you keep stringing me along. Let's just have the conversation. Do you just want us to buy your products and you don't want to invest in our businesses? Because this is what I'm feeling. And that, to me, like as you say, the new racism is embedded in like keeping us down, not really investing in black targeted, not black owned. But why do you think our culture still strives for that white validation? Because I do say in many ways, you know, you ain't gonna stop somebody wanting an endorsement deal or wanting to walk that red carpet of a mainstream platform.
Man, ain't nothing like a Harvard law degree compared to HBCU degree in this country. There's nothing compared to living in Valabasset.
HBCU. Talking about historically black colleges. Y'all didn't know that. Just throwing that out there.
It's compared to South Central LA. So the validation is there because we validate one another based off of it. A good paying job, rather than black ownership, black entrepreneurship, or black economics. Do you have a good paying white man job? So that's always been the validation for us. That's some security that you can die with. Your good paying job, the benefits that good paying job offers you compared to you starting your own business and passing that down as a family tradition or an inheritance, right? So what else do we have to strive for outside of white validation? Black excellence still seeks white validation.
As you say that, I see Jay-Z standing on the Grammys stage.
Puffy checking the people at the Grammys and missing the BET Awards. Rather than making our BET Awards the Grammys or making our Black Hollywood like the Oscars, we want to fight with them about what's been.
And making their show better for us.
For us. But their show isn't strictly for us. Right? So it's no difference than us once having the Negro League, and the Negro League was doing so good, it brought them to us.
But who do we blame for the apathy right now with black excellence? Is it black folks? Is it white folks? Is it social media?
You don't blame nobody. You look in the mirror and blame you.
If you're not contributing to
If you're not contributing. So it's kind of like, that's what brought me to the community, right? I'm traveling around the country, and I was partnering with a national.
We're gonna take a quick pause, real quick. Damn it. Charleston got some gems. I ain't gonna lie. This nigga crazy as fuck. He say some crazy shit. I don't agree with all the shit, but he got some motherfucking gems up in that motherfucker. Once you dust off all the bullshit, you knock the dust off of that, boy, he got some gems up in that motherfucker. Let go.
Lobbyist group out of Washington, D.C. that was called the Campaign Fair Sentencing of Youth. So I became a member of a national youth advocacy program that was called ICANN, Incarcerated Children's Advocacy Network. And so I learned about fundraising. I learned about all these different things. And so throughout traveling and speaking in all these different places and working on laws and legislation, you would hear people say, well, you become the change that you want to see in your community. That was the greatest challenge that I had ever heard. You go become the change that you want to see in the community. So in order to do that, I had to change my belief system.
And what was your belief system at the time?
I believed the culture. I believe real niggas went and done time and suffered in agony and they died with pride, only to not know that's not the truth. I believe that 4 friends riding in the car, one friend should take the charge for all the friends if he could.
So I'm gonna pause there. You were 12 years old, riding with
14.
14, riding in the car with folks, got into a situation where a person ended up being murdered.
Yeah.
You've told the story. You were 14 at the time.
14 years old.
You didn't shoot the person, but the person died.
Yeah.
You did, how many, 10 years, 9 years?
I was sentenced to 12 years under the Texas Juvenile Determined Sentencing Law. And I spent right at 6.5 years in the Texas Youth Commission from the age 14 to 21.
So did that time teach you what you just said?
Yeah, it did.
Because the culture don't do your time.
No. I grew up a privileged kid, right? My mother was a financially stable black woman who landed a job at General Motors in the early 80s. So during the 80s, General Motors and other blue collar workers, that was the backbone of America.
That was considered, we have a good job.
What?
Job,
That was the real middle class of America,
Yeah.
and you live good, right? So we had all the name brand clothes, but I was an entitled kid. I got an allowance. We had saving bonds. I had a piggy bank. I had my own room. So the shit that you laughing,
Charleston, now you showing our age. You been watching.
Hey, look, fuck the age and all that. What he's saying is real shit, because if you come from that, like Kendrick Lamar, like that, you know what I'm saying? If you like that, you completely understand. Piggy bank, saving, nigga, saving what? What nothing to save. So yeah. That's.
You don't know what no damn piggy bank is. Now you just took me back. Now you made me feel old because I had a piggy bank.
I just seen you laugh. So
piggy bank was when we actually saved money. Now you're too busy out buying shit that you can't afford to be somebody that you ain't arrived at yet. That's a piggy bank.
Yeah, so my mother was trying to instill good morals and good values into her kids. She was God-fearing, she was a Christian. We had to say yes, ma'am, no, sir. So that's prior to the gangster culture, right? So,
but your dad was a Navy officer. Was he in your life at this time too?
he was in and out.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in and out.
So so you're with mom. Mom's at General Motors. Dad is in and out, but he's a Navy officer.
But I got an uncle.
Okay.
So this is the elements in most black families. Whether you got a good mom or a dysfunctional mom, right? You always got that element of that uncle who has access to what the kids hear or see, right? So it's the uncle coming through, whether he's a pimp, a drug dealer, a molester, a woman beater. It's always something of that image that has a negative influence within the family.
And the relationship that makes the pathway to that influence seem okay.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So just give an example. When Uncle Wayne was coming through with the 3-piece suits on, getting out the Rolls Royce, briefcase full of money, you see, as a kid, you see how the family responds to him, right? With your young and impressionable mind, you mimic what you see people admire in your culture and in your environment. But when you wake up one night and he's beating his woman, how do you wrestle with that? Mm-hmm. When you still see the family treat him in a certain element, right? So don't shame the negative attributes that you see. The uncle who walks through the house with the sagging pants with the gun, who still lives with grandmama, whose sister just dropping the kids off over here, right? Grandmama just babysitting for a while, but the uncle still lives there. It's no different than the one who molests the kids, mm-hmm. who has access to the kids. So you end up mimicking that behavior. So I'm born in the 70s. My uncle was a pimp. The 70s and the 80s was the black exploitation era. It's no different than the drill era, the gangster era, the trap music era. We had a black exploitation era that was projected through Hollywood and entertainment. Superfly, The Mac, Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2.
Was Foxy Brown a part of all that?
Come on now. Mm-hmm. So when you think about Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2, as kids, we don't have access to these movies because they're not coming on television. Your uncle's got these videotapes, these VCR tapes. So we're watching them. So my name is Charleston. My dad's name is Charles Ray. My name is Charleston Jamon. But my pimp uncle, when I come home from the hospital, he called me Charleston Blue because there was a pimp movie called Come Back Charleston Blue that came out in '76. So they're already putting titles and labels on you as children that you just end up walking into, whether it's, boy, you gonna be just like your daddy.
I heard that.
Come on now. You might not even know your daddy, but the traits and those attributes are there because of the chromosomes.
So where was it that you were raised by the mom who had the great job, the decent job, the father who was in and out Navy, but it's still a positive image? Here comes the uncle. When did the shift happen that led you to prison?
Well, my grandmother's been to prison. So my mom would have to take me to go visit my grandmother in prison. My granddad ended up going to federal prison. My mom would have to take us to go see him. Then my Uncle Wayne is in and out. You know, the street hustling uncle who come take a bath over his sister's house, chain clothes, you know, wash up over there, get a nephew some money, let him ride in the car.
He must have read my book or something.
No.
Because we all have it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the people who sit and judge us, those of us who actually live through what we all go through, they go through it too.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting about the culture, because on the outside, when you watch the social media or the interviews, like you have the same uncle.
Everybody have this element in their family.
Yeah.
Everybody got a molester
Everybody
in their
that looks
family.
like us.
Every human being.
I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of weird that you keep on going back to the molester part. I'm trying to figure out where this is gonna come out at. I gotta watch some more interviews. Does somebody know if this man was molested or anything of that nature? Because he keeps on going back to that. Maybe it's just me.
They have a molester in their family. They have an abuser in their family. They have an addiction trait in their family. It's in every human being, right?
Yeah.
It's there. So my mother is fighting.
Everybody at home right now is texting their molesting uncle.
So my mother is fighting to keep us from this. But because she's a single mother, and back then there was really no resources to help single mothers. So my mom, when I'm getting out of school, they doing 12-hour shifts at General Motors. So when I'm getting out at 3, my mother is kissing us, literally saying, I got meatloaf on the table, the such and such in there. Make sure y'all do this. Leave your homework out on the table. So she's giving us instructions. Don't leave out this house. Don't open the door. I'm going to call this such and such, make time. So she's giving us instructions.
Yeah, we're not going to listen to that.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And so she's going from 3 in the afternoon to 3 at night.
Yeah.
So when my mama coming home, she's doing her due diligence. We better have the homework out because she going to work us up. Where y'all homework at? She's going to the extent of going to the bathtub to check and see if the soap wet, to see if we took a bath. Get up, boy, and take a bath. Y'all ain't took no bath because of soap. So she's doing all of that to try to instill good morals and good value. But while she gone, Uncle Wayne coming by cooking up dope. She got a sister who's just getting crack, came through what, 81, 82. So now my aunt is addicted to crack. So now my aunt is losing her place. Her and her kids have. My mom's trying to be the backbone to save the family. So she's exposing us to the negative elements of our families by bringing these family members into our homes, allowing them to stay with us, trying to help them. So we picking up on all the negative attributes. When we go spend a night over Aunt B house on the south side, over in the ghetto, we get to stay outside. So we picking up all these negative traits by going to go visit family members, coming back home in the well-to-do areas, mimicking the behavior.
Right.
Culturally. Because this is our culture at the time. So, man, by the time I played the flute in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade.
I played the flute in the 8th.
I lost my eye in the 3rd grade. I got my glass eye put in the 6th grade. So up until that point, I was in and out of hospital. So I had a private tutor. So I never really started going to school until the 6th grade, really. So I had 9 eye surgeries. I fell in the washing machine when I was 5. So between those 2 injuries, I really never got to go to school. I was a institutionalized baby. I had a tutor, a private tutor that came. So I was in and out the hospitals. So by the time I get in 6th grade, I'm a burst of energy. I'm a burst of energy.
But also you had been sheltered, so to an extent, so now there's this newfound freedom.
Yeah, there's a newfound freedom. So with this newfound freedom, I remember when Colors came out. I had just got this newfound freedom.
See, we the same age, so everything you're saying, when Colors came out, that was the one movie in the theater in our community where they killed somebody in the theater.
Yep. That's the first time ever. So, man, this was a phenomenon. So I done saw my Uncle Butch. I done saw my Uncle Boosie. I done saw Uncle Wayne. And plus, I done been to Aunt B house to see some of this on television, what I saw in real life. And the thing about children, they can't decipher what's real from television. So when a kid is watching somebody die on TV, they really think that person is dying because of the lack of brain development. It's hard for a kid to turn off TV and say that wasn't real. I don't care what you say.
Right.
So I'm seeing what I'm seeing on television, I'm starting to see in the community. The awareness is now coming because it's being propagated through the television screens. So it's like a veil comes off when I'm out in the community. So now I know what a gangster looks like. Mm-hmm. So now I'm trying to mimic it based off the culture. So this is just from television. Now here come the music. So now we seeing. Now, and we don't watch Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2, and the favorite character is Too Sweet. A little guy like me that went to learn how to fight in prison. So man, by the time we're in the 6th grade, we're talking about what we're gonna do when we go to prison. Mm-hmm. Because now we've developed the concept and with our young and impressionable minds that Uncle Wayne done been to prison, Uncle Curtis done been to prison, so all these men in your family, you spend the night over your friend's house, all these other men done been, so you start thinking this the way. Because now it's being propagated to you as a kid.
But is that what led you on your path?
This is deep. This is deep. Give me one moment. Good afternoon, OC Solutions. So when you hear stuff like this, how do you feel? Have you ever been to prison? Have you ever done jail time of any kind? You know people that's done jail time. I feel like there's some truth in this. I feel like there's a lot of truth in this. I did some time. I remember being younger, preparing myself for the streets. And on worst case, if a bid was to come, I don't remember ever talking like what I was going to do if a bid came because it was always don't get caught. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now we wasn't on that, but I'm not as old as he is either. So, but we was like, don't get caught. But we were ready for the prison time because we knew it was a part of the game, the lifestyle, ... But pretty much the same thing. How do y'all feel about that? I feel like he's speaking some truth right now. A little bit.
Hell yeah.
So you were influenced by your surroundings.
Yeah, my surroundings in television because when my mother, I'm a kid that grew up watching television raise me, and I'm fascinated by the gangster, the negative stuff because my uncles and them is exposing me to things, so I'm already impressed by it. Mm-hmm. So when I see it in real life, man, I'm fascinated by a guy that seems to be like what I see on television, like this. So I'm drawn to it because your mind is young and impressionable, and these are the guys who you idolize in your homes. So when you spend a night over your friends' houses, you start looking at their uncles and their daddies to see if they got the similar traits. Guess what? They got the similar traits. His dad, your daddy just getting out of jail too? Man, that's my brother.
Well, and in our community, people glorified it.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So a pimp, my uncle being a pimp and beating women, it wasn't shamed upon. So it wasn't nothing for me when I got in the 7th, I think the 8th grade, for me to try to slap my girlfriend like my uncle. And plus the music, like Easy and them say, you pimp slap the bitch.
But
that's what the music said. You just a kid.
Did you pimp slap the 8-year-old girlfriends?
Yeah. I was.
I'm not gonna lie. I hear what you're saying, C-Dub. And I'm sure there are a lot of impressionable minds and impressionable in different ways. I ain't never been slapping bitches or nothing like that because I heard that shit in the song. And I don't know a lot of people that was. I don't know a whole lot of music that truly, truly influenced the actions of people. I know people that related to music because they were doing some of that stuff. I know music that'll get you turned up and might help motivate you to go do something to somebody because of them frequencies and the messages and stuff like that for sure. But that was, I mean, I'm sure it happens. How y'all feel about that?
I was trying to do what my uncles and them did.
What was so when you pimp slapped the 8-year-old girlfriends?
I was in 8th grade. I pimp slapped Michelle Carr. Cause she told all the girls in school that I didn't know how to tongue kiss, and I didn't. Cause when we was in the 7th grade going to the 8th grade, she tried to tongue kiss me, and that was my first time tongue kissing. And when she stuck her tongue in my mouth, it freaked me out. I didn't know what to do.
So you slapped her?
No. So when we broke up, so she was real popular in school, and so was I. So she went to school and told all the girls that I didn't know how to tongue kiss. And she was telling the truth, and I didn't. So I was embarrassed and ashamed. And so we was walking in the hallway, and she was pulling on my jacket. We were wearing troop jackets back then. And she smashed my donuts. And so I used that as an excuse to try to slap her like I saw Uncle Wayne slapping women, right? But when I tried to slap her, my jacket got caught in her ear. And when I pulled back, it ripped her earlobe. And her daddy came running through the hallway. That nigga was looking for me, boy. Yeah, I got suspended for the rest of the school year.
You didn't mace him?
No, I was 13 years old and I ain't know nothing about mace. She had a dope dealing daddy. I was scared. Yeah, everybody was scared. He running through the hallway looking for me.
So 13, okay, so when you slapped her, what did you feel? Do you remember?
Well, you know it's wrong. So because your mother teaches you different, but you trying to be like your uncle. A level of shame, but you don't know how to say, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm ashamed, man. Because you still carry on, because you just mimicking.
It's learned behavior, yeah.
Children mimic what they see and repeat what they hear. So I'm the nephew that's riding with his pimp uncle in the back seat with the hoes. So I might be sitting in the back seat with 2, 3 different prostitutes, but in my mind, these are my aunts. So when he riding and checking paper, so he teaching me this. So yeah, nephew, you ain't got no reason fucking with a bitch if you ain't got nothing for her to do. And I just be, eating a Happy Meal.
Learning the behavior.
Yeah. So all behavior is learned, either directly or indirectly, either being taught or through observation.
Well, when you're in the car with the guys, you're 14, they shoot the guy, you're telling them shoot him, they kill him, he dies, you get locked up.
Yeah.
Did that experience make you go, when you get in jail or prison, this movie shit is not real?
Yeah, there's a different reality that sets in when you partake, or if you take somebody's life. It's not like the movies. The movie go off. When you take somebody's life, that scene never goes off. So nah, it took a while, because you're still dealing with a human that has an undeveloped brain, right? Yeah, the feelings were overwhelming, right? So the feelings of guilt, the feelings of shame, even embarrassment, it can be so overwhelming for a kid that some kids have committed suicide. Because the brain can't process these overwhelming feelings. It's impossible because of the lack of brain development, right? The lack of the prefrontal cortex, logic and reasoning. So you're trying to understand why I did this. You're trying to understand why I feel so guilty. You're trying to understand why I want to play tough around my friends and still act like weak. So you battling the fact that, yeah, I have empathy, but when you get with your community is clapping for you because y'all done killed somebody. So that's a hard balance.
Right.
And you really have empathy. And part of your redemption, part of your rehabilitation, part of your resocialization, all stems from you having empathy. You feeling bad for what you did. But your culture is saying free the killer. The culture is saying, yeah, man, that nigga killer. So, man, that's a hard balance. So to put a kid, for a kid to make that choice and that decision and put himself in that situation, that's why many young people never can recover from making this horrible decision at such a young age. And they can't change at an old age because the culture won't let you have empathy.
So K. White, your brother.
Yeah, Kevin White. Yeah.
He murdered somebody when he was 17, got arrested, did 31 years, just got out of prison.
It took him 20-something years to have empathy.
Did he go to prison for killing somebody before you did?
Nah, he went after me.
He went after you. So he saw what you went through and still did it. Is that product of our community? Is that, what is that?
I'm the little brother. So my brother was already violent, you gotta understand, man. We what you would call a wannabe kid. They come from the middle class community.
Which is a lot of kids, though.
We walking on marble floors. Our mom got the good cars. Man, we got our own room.
Shit, y'all had bar soap, not
Man, I had my own phone line in the 3rd grade. So that was unheard of in the 80s for a nigga to have his own phone line. Get the school handbook and call you. Hey, you know, can I talk to such and such? And your mom would say, hey, why that boy calling this late?
Right.
So man, we was very privileged kids. But because the lack of father, right? So most mothers can provide their kids with a perfect home life. But if they don't have a positive male connection, there's a negative attribute that attaches itself to a fatherless kid, and no one can explain it. It's like the little motherfucker just angry. So most little boys with their dad, with their loving mom, they seem angry. Or they got anger outbursts. They have anger management because they can't express, man, I want my daddy.
And they may not even say that, but that's what's the underlying.
The behavior, because you need, just like you need that white man's validation, you need your father's validation and affirmation just as bad as you need the white man's validation for your success.
And neither one of you got that.
Come on now. Man, I was smart in school. Man, I've always excelled in school. But because the culture don't clap for the smart kid, oh man, you think you smart. Oh man, you asking all the questions. So once you see that, oh man, you the teacher's pet. Oh man, you kiss. So you stop being smart in school. You start being the class clown. So because
damn, I ain't gonna lie. Nigga make it sound like our culture all the way backwards and fucked up. How do y'all feel about this? I definitely think there's some points there, for sure. I'm just, as I hear this, I can't say that a lot of it's not truth, but I don't feel like, I guess I'm battling the thought of, is it strictly because of our culture? Or is there more of another influencing factor that makes our culture so volatile? It's crazy. Let's see what's happening.
When I was 8 years old, my brother probably was 10. We were watching a movie. Out of nowhere, this 10-year-old kid says, "Ooh, man, when I grow up, I'm gonna kill somebody." Man, I looked at that nigga and ran downstairs, "Mama!" because it scared me. In hindsight, the anger that I saw, man, I went and told my mama, "Man, mama, he say when he grow up, he gonna kill somebody." As the frustrated parent, tired, working parent, "Boy, come here. What you mean you gonna kill somebody?" Man, rather than exploring that. So, man, grew up and killed somebody. And for a long time, man, my brother didn't have no remorse. Here I was, a kid who went through the juvenile system. And because I went through a different environment, I went through a different program. We had psychiatrists, we had psychologists. I grew up in an environment where all my childhood issues was repaired, right? It is much easier to create strong children than it is to repair broken men. So I went into an environment that focused almost 7 years on repairing a child and then creating a strong one. So that's what y'all see today. I went through a system that was able to create something like this. So my brother and them went to prison as teenagers. My friend there caught a double homicide as a kid at 15 years old. So they grew up in prison. I grew up in a juvenile system, so there's a difference. So I grew up with nurture, compassion, care. Them niggas grew up having to survive. So my brother, I had to cut my brother off because here I am working with children. I'm working with victims groups. And I remember my brother telling me specifically that he didn't have no empathy for the guy he killed because it was street and drug related. And I remember telling him that there's no way God would ever let you out of prison if you don't have no empathy, if nothing for his mother. My mother, she would always tell us, no matter how hard it got when we locked up, she said, "At least I can still come see y'all. The other people can't come see their loved ones." So just think, so my mother would never let us complain because we were responsible for taking somebody's life. So she would never let us forget that. But my brother never thought he would ever come home from prison. My mother believed he would. But there's no way he could have came home and he not developed some type of remorse for taking somebody, even if he feels justified. You have to have some kind of remorse for the impact that you left on the family members. So eventually he got to that point, and then shit, after 31 years, the doors open.
So when you got out and created the HYPE program, helping young people excel, was that driven because you knew as a young person you needed somebody to help you excel, and then wanted to give that back to other people as part of your contribution to the culture?
From 1991 to 1998, age 14 to 21, man, that's a big old gap.
That's a big development. Those are big development years too.
Yeah, and so when I was released, I had been locked up in the juvenile system probably longer than any kid at that time, whereas the others had been transferred from the juvenile system directly into the adult prison system. I grew up with children who killed their mothers and their fathers. I grew up with children who raped 9-month-old babies. I grew up with children who killed their grandparents. I grew up with children who murdered some of the most elderly of our population, who committed some of the most heinous and worst crimes known, if not in the state of Texas, in America. We were the first group of children in America, outside of California, Chicago, Philadelphia, and New York, who began to commit murder in the late 80s and early 90s. This was a group of children who Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton went before our congressional members and said that these children are super predators. That term came about during that time. They said that this group of children would be
super predators. I'm not gonna lie, that's deep. This is a long ass interview. Hopefully this nigga has some more gems to drop on us.
Bigger, faster, stronger, heartless, and incorrigible. This was spoken to our Congress members. So they began creating laws in this country, strict, harsh, inhumane laws toward children, mainly one, a juvenile life without parole. So they began sentencing children.
Was that when they decided to try juveniles as adults?
Yeah, so at that time, they lowered the certification age from 15 to 14. And then they started giving children at the age of 12 juvenile life without parole with no possibility. But this is before all the data and the research about brain development, right? Because the term super predator and that being attached to children sent a shockwave of fear through America. And we were committing these crimes. So
that's the singular thing I think that, although I did vote for Hillary and wish that Hillary would have won for my own personal reasons, that was the one.
I voted for Hillary too. I named my daughter after Chelsea Clinton because I was a Hillary fan.
Really?
I was a big Hillary fan.
Hold on. The leader of the nigga nation was sitting up one day and decided to name his child after Chelsea Clinton.
Chelsea Clinton. Yeah, I had got into it with family members and everything. The whole black community, I stood in line for hours voting for Hillary Clinton against Barack Obama. And at the time, my baby mama was pregnant with my daughter. So yeah, Chelsea Serenity White.
But people not understand, well, that was the super predator thing, was the thing that stuck on Hillary when she was running against Donald Trump, because people couldn't, black folks.
Black people, yeah.
Were tired of being labeled super predators. Not
stigmatized. That was a stigma it was a horrendous stigma, because now they're trying to undo what they had done, and they even apologize for it. But
not to mention 3-strike law that also happened under that whole
minimum sentencing guidelines on the federal, all of that. So right now, the Miller versus Graham ruling that overturns the automatic juvenile life without parole. So that's how I kind of got into politics. So my change came from the juvenile system, right? Because I went through a program that focused on re-socializing a child, right? Rehabilitation comes after you re-socialize someone. There's a lot of people who grew up in households who really don't know right from wrong. I know some kids that they think if they can take it from you, it belongs to them because they took it from you. If you can't take it back, then heck, so it's some worlds that exist like that. It's some worlds exist where men and women, they fight each other. The man whooped the woman hit him while he sleep, and they love each other and don't nobody call the police. So it's some worlds that exist like that. But I didn't grow up in that world. I wanted to try to fit into that world. So by me not having a father and me trying to identify as a boy, a male, and as a man from just my mother's teachings and what the culture teach me. I went with the culture because my mama, what you say don't work out here playing marbles with these guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I want the ball back, what you say, I say, well, please, can I have it back? This don't work, mama. So I'll stop listening to mama, because what she's telling me to do as a boy don't work when I leave the porch.
What she's telling you what to do is right.
Yeah.
But the mothers didn't tell those other kids that will have the ball the same thing, and that's not the reality of the world that you're in.
Yeah, so sometimes culture overrides what you're being taught in the home because you got to survive and fit in, and I want to fit in.
But that's the thing. Where do we take responsibility as a culture, though? Because I can tell you, the only time I've actually actively tried to kill somebody was the day after, a couple of days after my brother got murdered. It was at that point, I think I had just hit a low. I wrote about it in my book where I talked about us going to find the person, knocking on the door, and having the guns. And in my mind, I remember the feeling of, I didn't care who opened the door, we were just gonna kill everybody in there. That's what I thought. But I got into a place of despair. But there were times over my life where I've made decisions like, you know what? I don't want to sell drugs. I'm bad at it. I was doing side agreements with crackheads that don't work. They don't pay me back.
I was tricking. Yeah, I was a little nigga tricking.
But when do we take responsibility? Because not all of us go down that path.
I'm finna say the culture, right? Boys in the hood. When they gave us the part when Trey said, "Let me out the car."
Yeah.
And Doughboy and them let him out. Mm-hmm. We need more examples. Other than that, we ain't got no examples.
That's a great answer, yeah.
When they didn't shame him. Mm-hmm. They let him out the car. See, now we ain't gonna...
Pause. Damn. That struck a chord, that struck a note, because that's that real. Have you ever been in that boys in the hood situation where something was getting ready to transpire and you had that moral compass start to guide you and say that this ain't the right direction, this ain't the right way to go, and you make that decision to go the other way and people let you go the other way? I can definitely vibe with that because I grew up in a situation where not only was it you had the moral compass, well, I had a moral compass, you know. I wanted different things. I wanted to do different things and be somebody else than what my environment was allowing. And that thought had come through my mind, but never did it verbalize because I knew that was against the grain. I knew that, you know, the environment, the culture, my friends or whatever the case at the time, I knew that it wouldn't be accepted not to be a part of what was going on and for things to be okay for me in my environment after that if I was to decide not to go with whatever. So that's deep, that's dope, and I think that's a gem right there. We definitely need more moments like that.
Don't let the nigga out the car. Oh, bitch ass nigga, hoe ass, we gon' shame him. He can't ride in the hood, so man, let a nigga out the car. We need more examples. Mm-hmm. Man, we need more, until I came, man, nobody done stood up and said, man, you gangster niggas wrong. You man, I wouldn't dare disrespect no Crip and Blood nigga, and we done Cripped and Blood. But man, at some point, man, when you know better, you do better.
Charleston is not afraid to go viral. Let me tell you where I can't remember the first time I saw you. I know after I saw the first viral clip, and I can't remember which it was, I've watched everything unfold after then. Do you ever think about your safety, your own personal safety?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, I had an aggravated assault charge with a deadly weapon. So this was like in 2018, 2019. By 5 guys, 5 blood members from a different city said, we go come to the classy lady. And I'm thinking these niggas just online talking. Cause in my mind, ain't no nigga finna just say what they finna do and come. And plus, it's Sunday and the Cowboys playing. These niggas ain't finna stop watching. So, but I'm online playing. I don't watch football. I ain't got nothing to do. So I get in my car, get my guns, and I record myself doing this. Riding all the way to the classy lady, which where my youth organization was. So when I get there, I see one of the guys. I knock over the table, but I'm recording myself doing this. I take cover with the gun, but I never point the gun or nothing. I ended up having to make bond to get out of jail on that for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
But you didn't shoot him?
Uh-uh.
But because you pulled the gun out?
Yeah, because I pulled a gun. But the charges ended up getting dropped. So after that, I'm saying, man, these niggas ain't gonna go to that extent, because in my mind, I haven't done nothing to nobody. I'm saying to myself, the guys who wanna hurt me or who would hurt me, they've already hurt other people. So why would they be mad at me for what I'm saying when it's somebody mad at them for what they've done to other people? I haven't been gang banging. I haven't been shooting up the neighborhood. So in my mind, the energy that comes back to me, it don't require me to be harmed and hurt. I wrongfully participated in taking a man's life as a kid and paid my dues to society for that. So my debt that I paid to my victim is that I work with other children who possibly could take somebody's life like I was, a misguided kid. So that's my energy that I sow back into the life that I've taken. Outside of that, most of my crimes was committed as a kid, snatching white women purses, breaking into white people's houses, because you got your uncles and them telling you, go cross the railroad tracks and do it. So you thinking you're doing some just taking from white people, coming back over here. But my mama saying wrong is wrong. God has no respect to person. So as you get in trouble, as throughout your life, as you get in trouble, you're a smart kid in school and you go to a white school. So who's mostly impacting you? These wonderful white teachers. Who's coming to tutor you? These wonderful white teachers who's teaching you about John Brown and who's really teaching you your history. So you really can't. So you're conflicted by what your uncles and them saying. So you got to think, homie, during the 80s, you got a bunch of niggas that was sitting around mad at the man. Yeah, niggas, they went to selling dope, they were mad at the man.
Right.
And everything's about, even the television shows were about the man, from George Jefferson to
all in the family.
Everything was about the man. So as a kid, you're intertwined into the culture because mama and them gone. So that's what's raising you.
I always wondered where that came from, the man. We don't hear that like now, like in today's world, like you don't ever hear nobody say the man. You know, it's the man. ... I think the last, or like even like probably like the first real introduction I can remember to, or of the man was in Undercover Brother, with what's that, Eddie Griffin, whatever, something like that. And that was like all about the man. You know what I'm saying? So that's an interesting take. Just wanted to say that. How do y'all feel about it?
But you're trying to balance your mother's good teachings, right?
So isn't social media nowadays gaslighting that even? It's just putting
It's
fire
worse.
to the flames,
Yeah,
right?
It's worse, especially if mama's busy. And so this is the dilemma now, is that mama is so busy and the kids are so active and the kids learn and pick up so fast, they from what, I'm gonna say as early as 2, they put a phone in this kid's hand. And it's always bewildered me, how does this kid know what to go watch? Because as early as 2 years old, these kids find their favorite videos, right? So that's what drew my interest about content creation, because I've found out that the kid videos pay more than all of us. We got some millionaire rich kids we'll never know.
Right.
But they've been opening toys since their parents. So, and here our kids are clicking on it. So I'm saying, man, how do your kid find these videos? So from just say 2 to 4, the phone is raising them, because we give them the phone so we don't be distracted by them. They get to eat and they got the phone. They eat and they got the phone.
Then they get the tablet.
Then they get the tablet.
Then they get the PlayStation.
Then they get the joystick.
Yeah.
So man, so by the time they get the joysticks and put the headphones on, fuck you, nigga, you're gonna die. Fuck you, bitch, I'm gonna shoot you. Man, you ever put them headphones on in here?
I've been online listening to those games, Call of Duty. You would
it's
think
worse
they were
than rap
in
music.
You would
Yeah.
think they're in Iraq.
But what I'm saying is, where's all this anger coming from amongst our youth?
Right.
It's the absence of some form of parent.
Well, and where's the complacency in parenting and putting the blame on the creators of the content or the consoles that they're using?
And now, because I'm on the console, now here we are, kids who grew up playing with other children, right? And we had empathy and we had compassion. If we fought, now get up. Let them get up. Put a stick on your shoulder. So this group of children, because technology, they have the emotional detachment from other humans. It's easy to be mean. It's easy to be cruel. It's easy to shoot something that you're not attached to. It's easy to be harmful to something. So they don't have the emotional detachment from human interactions. So this is real. This is a real mean, cruel culture of children that they have to try to exist in with no compassion because they don't have emotional attachment.
So why do you hate TikTok?
I hate TikTok because TikTok let the world monetize off me and won't let me make $1.
What do you mean?
I've never been able to make $1 off TikTok. I got over 2-point-something billion hashtag Charleston whites. I got 22 million misspelled Charleston whites hashtag, and so they let other people take my content and make money. But because I'm so offensive, at times my perceived ideologies seems radical, and most of the time I'm just bullshitting. I've never, outside of a personal interview like this, I've never brought the real Charleston to the internet.
Well, that's why I wanted to interview you, because I know people are saying, you're running for city council, and we're going to get to all. Yeah. This man's views, I have not had more notes on any guest that I've had than this one. I have not had to have more pre-production meetings than this interview because there's so much. There's stuff I agree and stuff I don't agree with, but what I love the most is that I want to use my platform to always show people who people are, because I saw that one clip of you and I was like, oh, he tricking us.
Yeah.
But I understand it because I do know sometimes you got to go to where people are to get their attention.
Well,
and let me say one more thing. All your kids out there that you're saying you don't want them to watch Charleston, they're already watching them.
Yeah.
And this is why the people who are trying to help kids the most may not show up the way you expect them to. I have right now on the campaign trail kids bringing their parents out. You need to vote for Jason Lee. You need to know Jason Lee because of my content and how I reach them. So I really wanted to interview you because I find you fascinating. And I think that, regardless of how I or other people may disagree with some of your points of view, your courage to totally live in your truth and be unapologetic about it has to be respected.
I went to community college. That was my exit from the culture, right?
You took criminal justice though. Were you gonna be police?
No. I started out just wanting to be a juvenile probation officer. Okay. So that's why I started Hype. I was already working with the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. Once I got my bachelor's degree, I was gonna go do juvenile probation and then parole. So my whole outcome, my whole mission was just to go work with at-risk children, juvenile delinquents. So when I got to college, just off writing papers and doing research, I shifted from criminal justice to pre-law. I said, man, I'm gonna go study law. Because I had won a few lawsuits I'm on, job lawsuits and things like that. So I said, man, I'm gonna go study law. But I just wanted to, I'm the kid who just wanted to fit in. Mm-hmm. So if the culture was scientists, I would have been a great scientist. If the culture said, let's be lawyers, I would have been a lawyer.
Sorry to cut that off right there, but the look in his eyes when he took that moment to collect his thoughts and say just the truest shit in the world. It's something so small. And I know a lot of y'all already picked it up. Some of y'all don't give a fuck. Some of y'all ain't pick it up. That's why we have this. He reminds me, it's like looking at not an older version of myself, but like a piece of character within myself. And it's really, honestly, it's like, it's a lot. It's almost overwhelming because you never hear this point of view. I was that motherfucker there. Like, well, I'm younger than him, but he was me in that essence of, he was a young guy, a smart man, that is survival of the fittest. This is what survival of the fittest looks like. Not the biggest guy out there, not the motherfucking craziest guy, not a gangbanger, not a businessman, not a man of one label. I'm not like, all those things I mentioned, I wasn't like shaming him or putting him down. I'm saying he's not a man of one label. He's not, you can't, like I said, you can't label him underneath just one thing. And he's telling you like, yeah, no, like in order to survive, this is who I became, and going through them stages and stuff. It's just it's a lot. It's a lot. I like that. because I wanted to be a fucking lawyer. I wanted to be a lot of different things. Hell, actually, you know, the crazy thing is I got into the life so young. I honestly didn't have a long period of I wanna-be's. I had a very short period of dreamer state, and then a lot of living in the reality and trying to say I wanted this, but I got to do this, and getting lost in this before I could get to that. But we here now. Let's go.
The culture said, "Let's be killers." So that's I wanted to be a black man, and growing up, I've never seen a black banker. As many times as I've been to an eye doctor, I never seen a black doctor.
Yeah, in our era, we didn't see black doctors.
No, or
black lawyers.
So it was hard for me to be the black radical kid that some of my uncles then would push me off to be, because I had loving white nurses, loving white doctors. So it was hard for me to embrace that aspect of the culture. But boy, I'm at home alone as a kid cutting on the television. I'm what the music and the television produce. Outside of what it's doing now. So I'm the product of this. It's only for me to grow up and become angry and resentful toward the culture, because I feel like I was tricked.
So you hate TikTok because they robbed you. What about Instagram? Do you like Instagram?
Instagram is a facade. Yeah. Instagram is Instagram is the fantasy world. Yeah. Instagram, everybody's beautiful. I don't even look on the Explore page because the women are too beautiful. Where the regular, normal looking women at? I swear by God, those are the demons and the angels, because they're too beautiful.
Right.
This is God's, so I don't even look on that page.
And then Instagram implemented that whole pay for verification thing. If you pay to be
it's the fantasy world,
right?
right? So you can go be with all, it's the jailhouse where a nigga can come be all he want to be over here and really not be nothing.
Right.
Because nobody really knows each other on Instagram.
Well, why didn't you pay to verify your account?
Because why would I pay when they wouldn't give it to me when I deserved it then? When they would deny me all these years. There's real documentations that I've done news stories with, the Walter Cronkite News 21. So I'm saying, man, they could have been gave me all that, but because I'm so radical, they wouldn't give it to me.
There's a box right there on the side. I'm gonna give you a gift.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
Apologies.
This is a good point to interrupt you and give you.
Giving gifts and stuff. It's a lot to swallow in this interview. It's a whole lot to swallow. That didn't, no diddy. Let me stop perpetuating the nonsense. Let's get this party back started. I ain't gonna lie, I love shit like this. I love it, I love it, I love it.
Give you this gift.
Oh, really?
What you got?
Oh, we verified your Instagram account.
Oh, man.
We got the page back too, and verified.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you earned it. I mean, because the reality is you already verified in these Instagram and social media streets. It's just the little blue check, I guess, makes it official.
Yeah,
but
and I ain't got to pay for it.
no.
Oh, okay, already, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Shit.
Okay, so now you can like Instagram again, but
Yeah, you're not. I fell in love with Instagram when I first got on there, because it created me to a whole nother world outside my local environment. I was Denzel Washington on Facebook before I ever got on Instagram.
In terms of fame, popularity?
Fame and popularity. I was doing millions of views on Facebook long before I ever even got to Instagram and YouTube. When I left Facebook, my only desire was to have a monetized YouTube page. I didn't know anything about Instagram.
Why did you leave? You're back on Facebook now.
I go back and forth. Just
You're not monetized on Facebook?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
They got. So this is what social media sites have done to me. They let all the fake pages, they put them at the top and they push me at the bottom.
But they're all your fake pages.
No, they're not my fake pages.
No, but meaning they're fake pages about you?
Yeah, they're all
yeah,
me,
but
yeah.
you can take all of those.
I've already tried. They won't, man. I don't know who running YouTube, Facebook, or so I got a Facebook fan page that has 100,000 followers. There's a fake Facebook fan page that got 200,000, and they're scamming people. So this fake Facebook page, I got a show in Miami on May 31st at Miami Improv. The fake Facebook page done reached out to Miami Improv to try to get some upfront money when we already got a negotiation for door split. So they had to reach out to us and say, hey, was that you? I'm like, no, man, that's a fake page.
Okay, let me make a deal right here on my show. If I can get all these fake pages, consolidate them, and get them to you and Shores and monetize it, can we get paid?
Hell yeah.
Okay,
man, we can
done
split
deal.
that 50-50, man.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Jason Lee, you a bad motherfucker for that one, nigga. That was badass, nigga. Look, nigga, that was alright, yeah, you from that clove, alright, shit, you got that hustle in them.
Yes, no, we don't gotta do 50-50, but we got that. Okay, so that's on the, we're gonna make a note of that. Yeah, we partner with Facebook and Instagram. We can figure that out.
Okay, man.
All right.
Man. What else you need for me? You want some help on the campaign? What you want me to stop cussing? You want me to stop being mean? What you want me to do?
Look, you might have to pop out on the campaign because everybody back home knows you. Shout out to Stockton.
Man, shout out to Stockton. Now listen, you got me. When I saw you climb that fence, I think y'all were having dog problems or something.
The pool, the McKinley Park pool, this is the pool in my community. They've been lying to the people. The op who I'm running against told everybody that she had cleaned up the park. So I went and shown them that it wasn't. So I climbed up the fence to get over there. I didn't know that would go viral.
When you did that, I said, that's some people pride themselves on being bosses. I said that's a true leader.
Yeah.
Because a leader is someone who focuses on self-improvement, and while making self-improvement, they make the people around them better. So for you to do that, it reminded me of, shout out to Mayor Bessie Price. But before she retired, as I married in Fort Worth, she would go on a bike ride in the city. With the people. And so our new mayor, Mayor Maddie Parker, she developed a reading program that most people in the black community didn't know about, but they went against her. So while she was working for Mayor Betsy Price, they was looking at the reading statistics. And at that time, I think only 33% of black children in Fort Worth could read on or above their grade level. So she created this reading initiative program in black people, and she didn't say nothing, she just created it, and it became very beneficial. So when you did that, so that's what really started making me tune in to you.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate that. We didn't even do it for performative reasons. There was literally the only way to get in that shot to get the pool. I had to climb the fence.
I saw that,
and I'm willing to do the work. And I think that for all of us who are trying to make our communities better, whatever our content is or whatever, I mean, we're all gonna reach people our own way. You have a reach on the culture that people just can't deny, whether they like or don't like the content. My family, I use them as the compass on what direction to go, and you're one of the names. They always say, where's Charleston White? They wanted to be here.
Yeah.
So shout out to Stockton. Okay, now, how did you trademark the word nigga? Because I've trademarked words. I never thought of trademarking the word I've heard my whole life. Mama used to call me nigga. She was a white woman. She dead, though.
Yeah.
How did you trademark the word nigga, and why did you do that?
Tupac. I got the word made nigga tattooed on my shoulder from shoulder to shoulder. So I'm the brain that Tupac talked about before he died. He said that he wouldn't change the world, that he would spark the brain that would. So I'm the kid that caught Tupac from the Me Against the World album. So, you know, in the boys' home, we saw the Brenda's Got a Baby. So I never got to grab a hold of the thug Tupac, right? So I got the Me Against the World, the All Eyes on Me. So the lyrics. Right, so at the time that I started developing admiration for Tupac, I had became a Muslim. So I was rebelling against my mother's Christian beliefs.
What made? How did you wait?
I was in a boys' home.
So you became a Muslim because you?
I joined first. I joined the gang.
Okay.
Right, and the gang led me to Islam.
Got it.
As most niggas do.
Because you were learning the discipline, or
no? Because that's where we was having the gang meetings at, in the chapel with the Islam niggas, right? Yeah, that's where, and you know, and we get to kind of buck the system with the food. So it was just it was an outlet. I was rebelling, right? Because my mother's teachings ultimately superseded everything that I believed as a kid. So I'm just going through a phase, man. I done went from, so you gotta think, from 5 years old to 12 years old, I'm in a hospital, having leg surgery, then eye surgery. So I just got my eye put in 1989 in the 6th grade. I'm locked up for murder 2 years later. So I never was a gangster. I was still sleeping with my mama at 12 years old. So I was a little boy trying to play this, trying to be something, and made a horrible decision, cost somebody's life, and ended up in the boys' home with kids who really come from this. But I'm a little brave heart. I'm a little brave heart little nigga. So, you know, and I know how to act. You know, I done saw Uncle Wayne, so I want to fit in. I don't give a damn, whatever we got to do to fit in, I want to fit in. So that means if we got to hurt somebody, yeah, I'll hurt somebody. Even if it feel bad, it feels better fitting in, right? So I joined the gang. Then I'm rebelling against my mother. I became Islam. Islam teachings.
But they weren't saying nigga at the temple.
No, but Tupac was coming with nigga. Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. Remember, strictly for my niggas.
Yeah.
So just that, my niggas. So Tupac became my King Von. You know, he became my, you know, what Jay-Z is today. So he became the youth minister. He became the Farrakhan. He became the Martin Luther King, as I read about these other people. So he became that figure. So when I got out, I get made nigga tattooed. So once I started getting into social media, I started using acronyms. GAME, G-A-M-E, game applied means elevation, because I know this is what gets the young niggas' attention. Pimp, proper instruction, motivate people, put it in my pocket. So I'm using acronyms just to talk to to get the young people's attention. So I met this old man named Weasel. It's Willie Charles Price. He's 77 years old, going on 78, born in 1945. He had a club that was called Texas Nigger.
With the hard R?
With the hard R. In the 70s,
Texas?
In Fort Worth, Texas, on Evans and Rosedale, he had a club that was called Texas Nigger. He and about maybe 10 or 12 more other formerly military men called themselves Texas Niggers, the hard R. And they fight police, they sold drugs, and they fed the community. So to get this history, I ended up meeting this old man, and he showed me the paperwork where he submitted to our federal government to try to start a 501c3 using Nigger. And the government sent him back his money and told him that the word nigger is prohibited. And I said, hey, well, no, Pops, let me show you how to do it. You can put T-N-N. And he said, no, I'm the last nigger. So he identified himself as a nigger. And so he broke that word down to me. He said, the nigger is not African. Because there was a time when America said, the world said, we're not gonna import and export no more slaves throughout these countries and lands or through these seas. America said, F y'all, we're gonna continue, because they were becoming a superpower. So America began breeding farms and started breeding their own slaves. They didn't have to import, and that became more viable and more economical than having to import and export, because you were losing money shipping them overseas, some dying, but breeding them here, so that became way more. So there's a book that's called How to Make a Nigger Slave. So
that's a book right now?
You can look it up. So me being...
That is a fucking hell of a title for a book. That's some shit where it's like, damn, when you think you knew everything about slavery and just the way they, just the way that things are, it's like, shit. We do see that in movies, but we tend to truly forget that America used to just breed slaves. Slaves, Mandingo slave or whatever, would go and he'd be the baby maker, and they would try and make as many big ass, strong ass slaves as they could from this dude's sperm and shit. And it's like, yeah, how to make a slave. That's deep.
In the academia kid that I am, I grew up reading Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain, one of my favorite artists. And in the book, Mark Twain, there's a character by the name of Nigger Jim. So prior to black people ever even having a name, it was nigger. And it was given to us. White people created that name. And that was on death certificates. That was in books, the nigger. Mm-hmm. So that's a real name for us. We're not African. We're seeds of these niggers. Well, when I studied the nigger with the ER, they never caused a war. They never done anything wrong to nobody on earth to deserve this type of treatment. But because of them, look where we are today. Just think if the nigger were like today's black people, they would have never got freedom. They would have never got rights. They had to have a element of strength that we can't possess today because we'll get even. Mm-hmm. Right? So think about the nigger. Then they start transferring from nigger to colored. Colored boy. That colored boy, no matter what his name is, the colored boy. Then it went to the Negro. Then we start having names. But Jim was the first nigger to ever get a name, if you understand American literature, nigger Jim.
So this is interesting because you're gonna link up with Kanye West tomorrow. Kanye, as you know, said that he felt slavery was a choice some time ago. He was literally sitting here before I launched the show and I had a conversation about it. And, he was forgiven by the culture before he decided to go left. Do you think slavery was a choice?
Yeah, it was. The Haitians fought back and won, and they're still penalized for it today. Yeah, they could have fought back. They could have had a slave revolt on those ships. Yeah, slavery was a choice to go down. Each time they brought you up and washed you off, man, you had a chance to jump off. You had a chance to fight.
What do you say to the people that were critical of Kanye and they're going to yell at the TV right now saying that it wasn't a choice? They didn't have weapons. They didn't have the tools to get free. We know that slaves. Well, slaves did die.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
But even still, right? When you get here off the ships and they start dispersing you elsewhere, it's only master, his wife, his children, and the overseer who live somewhere. But it's 50 of y'all here. It's a choice.
But does the nigga believe it's a choice, or do black people believe it was not a choice?
Black people. Because ain't nobody been talking to the niggas. Because if we really been talking to the niggas, there's no way we would do one another the way we do one another. There's not many niggas left who really know that word, mm-hmm. who really know that word is so powerful. White people want it to cease and desist because it's a hell of a reminder.
So in trademarking the word nigga.
So I trademarked the word nigga because I can never be a nigger.
Right.
And that word is prohibited by
But is it
American.
nigga like the way it's spelled on your
N-I-G-G-A, but it's an acronym.
Wait, but you own the trademark?
Yeah.
Out of everybody in the world that uses the word?
Yeah, I submitted the paperwork to the government. They approved it and all that.
So you can actually tell people, don't say nigga?
I don't want why. That word should be on in bright lights.
Where?
Like how that Hollywood sign is. It should be nigga up, N-I-G-G-E-R, up under Hollywood. Because these were great people, and that word should be admired.
But when we say slavery is a choice, does that embolden white supremacy and white people thinking that, see, he even said it was a choice. Because being here is a choice. You didn't have to come here, but we didn't have to get on the boat, is what you're saying. We could have died.
Well, we had a choice to fight too, though. We had a choice to fight too. In the movie Roots, they show us one episode, right? Where they all went up, get ready to take a bath, and they decided to fight back, got a hold. We could have done that every day. They showed us the movie The Birth of a New Nation with Nat Turner. But most people don't know there was a lot of revolts other than what they just tell us about Nat Turner. Rosewood, Slocum, Texas. Black Wall Street was even rebuilt. They don't even tell Black Wall Street was rebuilt. Not to the capacity of what it was, but it was rebuilt.
Will Smith's Emancipation.
Come on,
Did
now.
you watch that?
I hadn't seen it, but I'm familiar.
Yeah.
So I'm saying we could have, but I can't say the fruits of white America's labor, but the fruits that come with being submissive, following the rules, it seems to be much greater than having our ultimate freedom. Because now, in my mind, you can't make me believe that this group of niggas won't be digital slaves.
Mm-hmm. So do you think the people who have a problem with people who say slavery is a choice is because they've been conditioned to believe that being submissive during that time, is what you're calling it, was the only way to survive?
Yeah. Well, the word nigger, Nigger, wasn't, every black person wasn't called nigger. Mm-hmm. You was a boy, gal. You wasn't a nigger until you disobeyed. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't you want to be a nigger? Mm-hmm. You wasn't a nigger until they got mad. Come here, nigga. What you doing over here? Other than that, you was boy. What you looking at, boy? So there was different classes and different statuses. So in my mind, the nigga supersede everybody. The nigga got whipped, the boy didn't. Mm-hmm. The nigga got sold, the boy didn't. So for those that says, well, slavery wasn't a choice, well, it's people looking at the glass half empty or half full.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll say, I don't get into the whether it was a choice or not because I wasn't there. I mean, I look at slavery and I've read the history books. We didn't write the history books. That's a whole other conversation we can go on. I get it, right? I think that people's digestion of the sentiment that slavery is not a choice is to somewhat side with the fact that we've welcomed or participated in oppression. That's even, you can even break that down and say we did.
We did. Well, let me just say this. Harriet Tubman says it, that she could have saved a whole lot more. Only if. That statement right there alone said that we had a choice.
And is she Harriet Tubman, is she heralded a hero because she took the courage to not remain a slave?
Not just that. She went back. She kept going back when she didn't have to. How many of us will get free and go back?
Well, we're free now, we don't go back.
That's what I'm saying. How many of us will break out to go break back in to keep breaking out, man? So she kept doing it. That's what make her who she is.
So you owning the word nigga and now Nigga Nation is on your chain.
Yeah, never
what is
ignorant
Nigga Nation?
Never ignorant getting goals accomplished. All the po niggas that everybody do, the po nigga, the nigga to me is like the dog that won't nobody pet. And the dog don't want to be pet, cause it ain't never been petted before. Everybody been kicking this dog and that. Get away from here, get throwing rocks. That's the nigga. That's the nigga. Don't nobody take that dog, oh, he got ticks, and that's the nigga. And that's our babies. If he ain't cleaned up, so even though we don't like the word nigga, what's more prolific in our culture, in our community, than a real nigga?
Well, who doesn't like the word nigga besides Oprah?
Our mama's name, our grandmother's name, the well-educated blacks who go to college and speak with good vernacular and the perfect articulation. So it's an offensive word. It seems to be a dumb person's word. But I see it as a group of people who don't have an identity, not as a race of people, but as a nation of people who were born in a country with limited rights and don't have the equal laws and protection under our constitutional law. And I understand that in the beginning, that's what the civil rights movement was initially about. Equal rights and equal protection under the law, not more so segregation and integration. So yeah, we've been integrated, but we still don't have equal rights and equal protections under the law. So I embrace the word nigger because I don't believe blacks will ever get rights. I think blacks are comfortable with the rights that they have established in America at this point. And I think that the niggers can re-identify themselves and get to the United Nations and get human rights as a nation.
What do you think about Oprah Winfrey, who believes black people shouldn't use the word nigga because it's the last thing a slave heard?
Well, it's a name that was given. It's a name that we answer to. I don't think Oprah really can have a voice when she's went to Africa to build schools, when our young black girls need schools over here, etiquette schools. When you look at our culture, we can use a few schools over here, Oprah, like you built over there for those young ladies in Africa. So I don't think she have much to say to us, not to the niggas. She can talk to black people because black people watched her. Mm-hmm. But the niggas don't pay Oprah no mind. They love Sexy Red.
Why do you think Oprah doesn't get the need to talk to niggas? In order to speak to something that you want to correct, you first have to have a connection to what you're trying to correct. And she don't have a connection. But Oprah's a nigga, though.
Oprah's a nigga, though. You think Oprah's a nigga? Is Oprah a nigga, though? Is Oprah a nigga? I want to hear how this goes. Is Oprah a nigga? Oprah's a nigga.
No. She's a Negro.
Okay.
Dr. King then was Negroes. To find a nigga, you gonna have to go find somebody that was born in the 1920s, the 1930s, and the 40s. Who know what that word really means. We're offended by a word and we really don't know what it means and who those people are and were because they weren't black. You go ask them about blacks, they don't know nothing about black. So the Negro is the children of the nigger. The Negro looked down on the nigger because the nigger couldn't really read or write. The Negro went and got the education. The nigger didn't. The nigger had the trade. The Negro got the trade in the education, but taught his children to look down on the trade, to go get the education. But isn't the argument, though, to white people and others that nigga and nigger or the Negro, it is all an assimilation of the same thing to them? No. White people in the world respect the nigger way more than they honor the black people. That's why we getting treated the way we getting treated. And they got what they got. They got rights, remember? We got the rights that they got. What have we got being black? The rights that we voting with today is the nigger rights and the Negro rights. The blacks hadn't got nothing but entertainment. So no, they don't look at us the same. They look down on us. So when people talk about reparations and wanting the need for reparations, is that just an apathy to not want to go and be a self-made boss or be free in building their own free enterprise? No. If we're being honest, man, we're owed it. But to give it, you don't give it to this entitled group. But because if you ask me, this entitled group got their reparations in free public education. You think so? Yeah. But free education doesn't teach black history, though. Education don't start in school. It starts at home. True. If you want black history, it should be at home. It shouldn't be in the public school system. But one would argue that the communities that we come from are broken, our homes are broken because dad's not there, jobs are scarce, the community's poor. How your mother and father created you has nothing to do with the white man. Your mom and daddy meeting in the club, getting drunk, fucking and having you ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, that's how I was born, Charleston. That's not how everybody was born. Well, most guys that I know, and I'm just looking at the guys, most guys that I know outside of myself got at least 3 or more babies by 2 or more different women. So I know guys that got 7 by 5. I know guys got 13 by 7. My friend Fredo has 5 by 5. So that ain't got nothing to do with the white man, how I protect my seeds, right? So I know women the average black woman that I know got at least 2 or more babies by 2 or more different men. Mm-hmm. What they got to do with the white man and how we produce one another.
Let me offer a suggestion, because if you think about the black home has been destroyed back in time by the white man. If you look at slavery, right? Like and you know, I don't want to blame everything on slavery, because at some point we all got to take responsibility and make choices for our own. I made choices for my own. I may be first generational wealth, or, you know, if I decide to have kids and pass it on. But at some point we have to look at, you know, the fact that historically and generationally we've had white people disrupt the black home. All the way back from Africa when they took us from our families. Now it was some black folks over there selling us in slavery, but we can get into that another day. But don't they play a part if you go that far back? Maybe not 1977 when we were born.
Well, this is why I argue against that. Because most of us haven't talked to our grandmothers, our grandfathers, to really know how they treated us, right? Because contrary to popular belief, and rest in peace, Dick Gregory. Man, Dick Gregory tried to tell us that we be wrong we mad at the wrong white people, because all white people didn't own slaves. Most white people didn't have a clue about the horrificness of slavery until people like Mark Twain and authors start writing about it in pop culture, right? So most white people couldn't even afford to own a slave. It was expensive to own a slave. Better yet, to kill one every time you got mad at him. To beat him where he couldn't work no more, right? So I argue against that, because we're not talking to our elders to really get the true history of what really went on. We're getting out these books on television and movies. So I'm saying, okay, what happens when I meet a girl, she get pregnant, and she catch me sleeping with her friend? She take me back in, she catch me sleeping with another woman. She had a baby, me and her break up, she go off to get a good job, I play hustler, and we never can get back. What white man plays a part in that? Mm-hmm. What about the guy who keep beating up the girl and she gotta leave him with the kid? What white man is playing a part in that? Mm-hmm. So when it's time to enroll the kid in the school, and the daddy know this is the first day of school, and they showing up to enroll, who's playing a part in daddy not being the kind of man he needs to be accountability-wise?
Right.
We can't blame that on
I
slavery.
think it's hard to paint I mean, you know, our culture, you can't really paint it with a broad brush, because a lot of daddies not showing up, those that are in prison, we know, we just talked about earlier, end up in situations
Well, this is
beyond
what
their
I'm
control.
speaking from. I'm speaking from a guy who got a bunch of guys who got a bunch of babies.
Right.
Now, because they had them so early, they was irresponsible dads with these 2, 3, or 4. But these last 3, they great dads for. So when I go to the prison visitation room and I see who's visiting all the killers and the gangsters in prison, it's their mothers. Mm-hmm. It's not the fathers. Every now and then you see father and mother, or granddad and grandmama, but it's the mothers. It's not the uncles, it's not the brothers, it's not the homeboy. So I'm saying, how can we blame all of this on white people? Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Let me be very clear. I
know you don't.
Yeah.
I know you don't. So I'm saying, but there's an element of our culture that does.
I agree.
How can we blame this on slavery when?
Or waiting for Jesus to come and fix it all.
And then we have to forget, man, there was a time when being a gangster was like being a preacher.
Being a gangster was like being Obama.
Come on now.
Where I grew up.
Come on. So not just where it spread throughout America.
Yeah.
So we're just now trying to undo that.
Well, I also think like today's Negro, nigga, is
black male, African American,
whatever.
Because we done evolved through a whole bunch of things.
I think today's social media black person is trying to rationalize a world we live in today that we've always lived in. So like now when you see a lot of cancel culture stuff happening for different things, which we'll get into, I know you want to know your opinion things.
This is what I'm seeing with today's black people. This is what I'm seeing with today's black people. They're losing the spirit of truth because we have so much information now, right? We live in an information age and we have access to information that was hidden forever, right? But we don't know how to decipher factual, credited, what's true. So it's all mixed in.
Or it was just somebody's opinion.
There you go. And so because we all have access to this, but we all don't have the knowledge to decipher the facts, truth, or whatever. So now we're more separated because our ideologies, the Hoteps, the Hebrews, so now we got all this new information, and now we don't have the spirit no more.
But how does okay, we're gonna go for, before I go there, because I wanna go right there. You said, because I'm black and white, so you've called me a mulatto. We've had Lotto here on the show. She doesn't want to be called
My son's a mulatto.
Okay. So I'm black and Italian. You said, I'm gonna read your quote. Basically, you said black people and white people are too angry. A mulatto
Exactly what I
was a
said.
gift from God to bring us all together.
That's exactly what I said. I said that.
We're gonna bring peace in the world. Peace in the world.
Yeah, I said that God is gonna use the mulatto, the mulattian, to usher peace into the world.
How did that happen?
Because I had biracial children. I wouldn't let my son play with all black kids. But because I see black kids, man, it's you can't be loving. You can't be a loving kid amongst black kids. I would tell my homeboy, homie, why you gotta teach your son to fight? Homie, let the world teach him when it's time to fight. Why are you teaching him as a baby to fight? But that's the culture. Nigga, I'm teaching my son love. Come here, baby. But you'll say, oh, boy, you raised him to be gay. With love? So, man, I raised my boy with love. I wasn't, man, fuck all that, teach him to fight, punching on him. No, man, I gave him love. So, but I saw this won't protect him when he go outside and play with these nigga baby, these ghetto nigga baby. So, I started watching what he would gravitate to, what environments he would have to fight in, what environments he get peace in. So this is my qualitative observation. And I don't remember too many mulattians growing up. It wasn't a lot of mixed kids growing up, homie. So that's why yellow niggas was so fascinating in the 80s. It wasn't a bunch of mixed niggas in the, you know what I'm saying? So, so when I got locked up, you never saw too many angry yellow niggas.
I mean, you saw Shamar Moore playing. I mean, but
let me just say this: the guy who put me down with the gang was a mixed dude, but they the real tough, super tough, cause they had to fit in to be real tough, cause the yellow nigga, or they manageable, mild, and can be perceived as being weak, cause they get along. So if the yellow nigga ain't playing a hard, tough role and he can fight, he'll be perceived to be weak. So when I had a mixed breed son, I saw what mixed people gravitate to.
Whoa. Hey, I don't know how y'all feel about that. If, hell, we are in 2024. I'm sure that damn near everybody who's going to watch this either knows, may have a relation to somebody mixed, mulatto, or whatever. That's a hell of a situation. I'm a little bit light-skinned. I went through some light-skinned battles in my life. And like I said, I know I made decisions, you know, whatever it is. I ain't gonna say I'm not happy with, whatever. I made decisions, and I definitely had to not even portray myself tougher than I was. I had to be tougher than I wanted to be. I felt like I had to be a monster, you know, like a bigger, badder monster than everybody else because of how they treated me skin color wise. But I understood, and that's my natural nature. I'm a mild-mannered individual, and I think that's dope to observe your children's surroundings and stuff like that. Now, my question is, Troop Squad, is it really wrong to teach your kids to protect themselves? Because, I mean, I definitely teach my daughters to protect themselves, not like every day or anything like that, but to pay attention to your surroundings and this, that, and the other, because the world is made up of everybody, and whether they be a nigga or whatever the case, there's people of every nationality, race, whatever, that will do you harm or means to try and manipulate or get over on you, whatever. So, are we wrong to teach our children to protect themselves? Or do we need to balance out giving them love and protection? Or should it just be all love?
When they come over here with the black, they really don't really fit in. They hair too pretty, they skin too, so when they come over here with the other side, you ain't white, you ain't, so there's no medium for them.
But that's the colorism black people would say was created by white supremacy.
Well,
is that blaming it on the white folks?
Well,
yet?
no, I'm not blaming it. So my mother always told me all things work for the good of those that love God. So whatever God created, whatever reason man created that for, is gonna be used for good.
I agree with that.
So when I look at mixed people, man, they fit in everywhere. They can go in any door.
But is somebody a part of the mixed community? We ain't here to bring peace from God.
It ain't on y'all to do that. I'm just saying, watching y'all. I ain't never seen a group of mixed people violent, angry, and disturbing. It may be an individual, but I've never seen a group of y'all. Nowhere. I ain't never seen a group of yellow niggas causing trouble, fucking up, nothing, nowhere. So that's all I'm saying. So my son is 20. I've been strategically paying attention to mixed people, and that's whether on a job. It's just because y'all can't fit into the hate. So for the most part, in your family, you bridge the family together. So my Mexican side, they didn't like the fact that she had that, but because the baby was what it was, they learned to love the baby. They learned to, so it bridged something. So if nothing else, barriers are broken with mixed breed people.
That's a fact. Because now that I think about it, I'm not mixed in that essence. My kids are, though. And yeah, BM's parents wasn't as, cool with everything until the baby came, you know what I'm saying? Then that kind of changes things and starts to, and over time it's damn near like certain barriers fade away, even though of cultural differences.
Mixed breed people go through hell
right.
too, because
y'all go more than any.
Because but you don't really belong in any one.
Get right here up. You just like the nigga. Get on, boy. Yeah,
you're trying to be that bridge. Okay, but you don't believe all dark-skinned kids.
I'm just saying that America haven't always had mixed babies, right? So we probably the first generation of black people who got to openly date white girls and have babies, and there's no real stigma to it. But your mom and them had a stigma.
Oh yeah, my grandparents didn't
Come
like
on
my
now.
mom dating black
Yeah.
men.
So I'm the first person in my family that got mulattians. I'm the first black male in my family with mulattian babies. So after me, my lineage is mixed. It ain't no more unless I make another full black baby. But I'm just saying, when I look at nationalities, whether those are Arabs, Russians, North Koreans, there's a lot of hate in the world. There's a lot of ethnocentric ideology, belief system that I'm better because I believe this. But the mixed child, they don't embrace hate. It's hard. Where can they hate at? And they're in the middle.
I mean, Drake hates Kendrick.
I don't think there's no hate. I think something happened behind the scenes we don't know about it. And these some niggas just having some they say it's over a girl. But we
if
don't
all
know.
this went down over, so wait, really, who do you think won between Drake and Kendrick?
From the response of the crowd and the cheers, Kendrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kendrick.
Okay, so back to the mulatto thing. Why don't you believe Latinos can use the word nigga? Because some people in New York and in communities that are mixed, we just say it in the hood. We all live in the same hood, so why not?
All my Latin King partners use it. Because they can't use it at the dinner table, at Christmas time, at Feliz Navidad time with they people. Yeah, now if they can go nigga at Christmas time with their grandmamas and mothers and them, they gotta wait a little while because the nigga still, the NIGGR is still here and sprinkled out around. Once they gone, then y'all come join us with the nigga shit because in Texas, our Mexicans are niggas. They got gold teeth, bald fades, they rap nigga, they niggas. But when I come out here to California, man, my SA partner and them, they not niggas, they vato, ese.
Right.
Yeah, so I think.
But as the person who runs Nigga Nation and who trademarked nigga, can we just settle it now as a person that owns the word literally?
Yeah, everybody can say it. Everybody nigga. Yeah, niggas out. See, I want to make the word inclusive.
Can white people say it?
Yeah.
So
now, let me just say this.
No, because only you can speak to the guardrails of the use of a word that you own. Because when Kendrick had that performance and that white girl was rapping in the audience and she said nigga, he stopped the show to tell her you can't use the word.
Yeah, she can use nigga. Yeah.
How deep is that? To own the word nigga. I mean, niggas thought that 50 Cent was doing shit when he copyrighted Get the Strap or trademark Get the Strap. The trademark a word. Charleston White shows just in the action of fuck the fact that yeah, it's the word nigga ... and people gonna use it this way, whatever. We have been using this word fucking forever. We have been learning business and all of these dumbass LLCs, start your business, get rich fucking shit and all this other dumbass shit. How the hell is it 2024 and Charleston White is the one who got the trademark the word nigga? I mean, I was lunching too, cause I'm a trademarking motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie, that shit ain't crossed my mind, but that just shows that the man is on to something. Nigga on to something. Can I say that? You said I can say that, right? All right, cool. Now, let's go, niggas.
Man, you got to remember now. The spirit of the nigga was a motherfucker. The hymns and the songs that they sang. You got John Brown. If you know who John Brown was, the abolitionist who went and died, had his son. So, man, the spirit of the nigga, white folk got it too. That was when you see Dr. King holding hands on them front lines, man, there's some white people he holding hands with. Bloody Sunday, man, when they come through hitting them, man, it was some white people out there. So we can't exclude the ones that can tap into the spirit.
Okay.
So, man, when you look at everything that took place after George Floyd, man, it was some down by law white people for the Black Lives Matter movement, going to jails, fighting and swinging. So, man, we can't, man, nigga, N-I-G-G-A is inclusive. N-I-G-G-E-R was exclusive because that was a particular group.
So, for everybody out there, I just want to go ahead and make this clarified real quick. Yeah, Charleston White owns the copyright or trademark to the word nigga. Yes, he has said that it is all inclusive. The word N-I-G-G-A, not N-I-G-G-R, that word was exclusive, which never really stopped these motherfuckers from using ignorant. But anyway, so I don't want all those good folks out there to go around and just start screaming this shit out. Disclaimer. Please do not just go out there screaming this shit out saying that Charleston White made it okay for me to call everybody a nigga. I don't believe that is the point of this. So just let's be safe out here. Let's use our heads. And if you do embody that nigga spirit, well, hell, then let the nigga in you speak the way that a nigga should. Continue.
We're not a particular group anymore. Because we got mixed babies now. It wasn't a lot of mixed babies then, man.
You said something controversial, and I'm gonna say it slow so you can, not that you're gonna prepare your thought because you're gonna say whatever you want. You said that Hamas is the street niggas of Palestine who are sick of it. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Right now, everybody is waiting to hear what you're gonna say. Now, there's a lot of people watching who wanna see the violence in Israel or in Israel and Palestine or Gaza stop. We all want, you want to see it end.
Yeah.
But a lot of people...
Because it's an unfair fight, for one.
A lot of people who feel that way in the industry, as you know, are refusing to speak out about it.
And I
want to know, why do you think that they won't speak out?
Because the repercussions and the backlash that you will get for being perceived to be anti-Jew. But if you understand the conflict and the history between the two, then Hamas ain't wrong. It's no different when black people got to their breaking point, and them niggas in Chicago started stealing animals out the zoo. Fuck they fucking with the zoo for. Then they started burning down Walgreens. It's no different than what we've seen here in America. They believe their land have been taken. And not only have their land been taken, they've been pushed to an open world prison in their own land after it's been taken. And not only that, they have the bullies who supports them and give them all the firepower, all the technology from eavesdropping to camera spying. Man, these people ain't got no freedom with the Jews over them. The Jews is the overseer, like the slave owner. So how much longer can they take it? How much longer do they have to take it? But they say, man, we have to do, come on, man. So two wrongs don't make a right. But
sorry to pause this again. I know y'all used to the way Swaggy does it, but as I said, I gotta fill in for right now, so don't criticize me or crucify me in these comments too much. But can somebody please in these comments let me know a summary, if possible, of what exactly he's talking about? I'm gonna look it up myself and everything, but it would be nice for the Troop Squad to be able to understand why he's saying that it's justified for Hamas to be doing, or feeling whatever they feeling in the conflict to be what it is. I would like to know this answer. So, yeah, drop that in the comments, please.
But when you push to the edge, do you let them push you off or do you push back? So in my mind, I see them pushing back, right? Let's get us some leverage. And from what most is reported, not that I justify them having hostages, but they're not mistreating the hostages.
Some hostages have died.
Some have, but not intentionally. And some hostages have reported from the woman's aspect. I heard one woman say they were very respectful and nice. So it's no different, man, when the niggas took to the street after George Floyd and say we couldn't take no more. They gave us something.
But for George Floyd, when he died, niggas didn't drop down in cities in parachutes and shoot a whole bunch of people at a festival. So when you see that, do you say it's justified?
They did, but they didn't drop down out of parachutes. I remember a retired police officer being killed outside of a pawn shop trying to go protect the pawn shop. I remember a lot of people dying during those rides. A lot of people. Yeah,
so with the people who parachuted in and shot all the people up at the festival, do you say that's when you push people to a corner and they respond?
Man, you can't justify, shooting innocent people. There's not soldiers, and that's not a part of the military, right? So you can't justify that. But if 10 years ago you guys done something, just like the gangbangers, this goes on and on and on, just like now. Y'all do something, we do something. This been going on since the 40s, homie.
And I think before social media, people, because I'll say as much as I think I'm educated, I know what's going on, I wasn't aware of the whole conflict for all the decades and decades. But now with social media, we see it every day. When you see it playing out now and you see the response and you see all the babies dying, who's to blame for it still happening right now?
Israel. Because it is my sincere belief that I believe wholeheartedly that only the strong can show compassion for the weak. Israel is a lot stronger. Israel have killed a lot of Palestinians in response to what has happened to them. How many more have to die? Mm-hmm. How many more innocent people have to be put in jeopardy for you just to go get a handful of people? When the world is begging and asking, even Hamas is saying, okay, we'll agree to this, but Israel is saying, we don't like that. So why not have compassion for those weak people who is at the brink of destruction? Because if they have to move and go somewhere else, it's gonna be a famine that we hadn't seen since the 40s. So they're going back to the 40s. So in the world is urging both parties, come on, man, y'all just hold up. Let's cease fire. Let's see. And Israel is saying no, that we need to do this and mash them. Come on, man.
And everybody's mad at Joe Biden. Should he be doing something more than he's doing now?
Joe Biden should stop sending military aid to Israel since they won't agree with the ceasefire. So everybody should be mad because here we are with so much, from the opioid crisis to fentanyl to gun violence to teenage pregnancy to even hunger in this country, to send so much aid and resources to 2 different countries in so many packages. Man, that's a slap in the face to America.
Well, I mean, and not to take away from the aid that's needed over there. I mean, there's the conflict is a lot to watch.
Man,
on
the
social
Jews
media.
are some of the most richest people in the world. How much aid do they need? They military and the things that they have is 20 times way more
Advanced.
Than,
But what I was going to say was, it's not that they don't deserve it, because I think our place in being a humanitarian to the world is important. But Congo, like, there's a whole world of people in Congo being killed that look like us that aren't being talked about on the news, and we're not sending aid that I know of.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago just had a horrible weekend. Philadelphia is having warlike murders, men amongst the kids.
So your thought is take care of home first with
Man,
all our resources.
Memphis just had a big shootout 2 weeks ago where people, man, we got that shit here.
Do you think?
Pause. What you think, Troop Squad? I mean, I feel like enough popular opinion, enough people feeling the same way and stating the same way. We're coming up on an election here. We have some crazy things going on in the elections. And our country has always been, that humanitarian role, always sending out aid and this, that, and the other. But when do we as people say, hey, we understand they need help, but we need to fix this first? I would love to go and rebuild your house, but our fucking floor has a hole in it. Hell, we ain't got no damn floor. What y'all think?
Amongst the niggas, but it's the niggas though. It ain't the blacks it's the ignorant niggas, the gangster niggas, kids, the poor nigga babies, the woman. Yeah. So it's easy to send aid over there and ignore aid that you can give here locally.
So do you think that's the frustration that younger people or people now in America have with Joe Biden, because they see him sending the aid there but don't see the change happening in their community here?
And what they've sent to Ukraine, they could wipe out all of our student loans with no problem. With all the aid they just sent to Ukraine alone. But you got people here still suffering. Man, you got people here who get denied food stamps because they $10 over what the requirement says. So there's no aid here for America. So how can all this aid be given and we have just as many people dying here, if not from gun violence, from fentanyl overdoses? Just as many.
So, but you commented on black murder, which I don't believe black on black crime is a thing. Do you believe it's a thing?
Yeah.
Why do you believe black on black? Because some would say crime is all based on proximity.
Show me where the Jews killing each other. Show me where the Asians going to jail for murder, and they got Asian gangs. Show me where there's a big population of Asians in California. There are Asian Crips, Asian Bloods, Asian gang. Show me where a big population of Asians in jail. You can't. Show me a big population of white people killing white people. You can't. But this is a country of guns.
Well, only when they go in school and shoot up kids and
But-
say
but
it's not
that's-
terrorism.
But they classify that as a mass shooting. They classify ours as gun violence, but it's mass shooting because mass people are being shot in one instance. But they don't classify ours as mass shooting.
Well, where do you think that comes from, though? Because again, I'm not one to say everything goes back to white people, but lack of investing
It
in our
comes back
communities.
to us because they see we don't care. If we cared if we cared the same about black people shooting black people that we did police shootings, then they would respond to black shootings the way they do police shootings. They try to give us resources and they try to find alternative solutions after a police shooting occurred. They literally put everything on hold. Come on, we got to hear from our blacks. But that's only during a police shooting. Then we act like nothing else bothers us but police shootings. Only thing that bothers black people in America is a white police officer killing a black person. Other than that, nothing bothers us because we don't cry, we don't complain, we don't march, we don't ride, and we don't tear up shit until that happens. So why would anybody care about that?
Pause. I get what you're saying, C-Dub, but me personally, Johnny bring the bass, I get what you're saying. But we've had, hell, I can drive through so many streets in Philly right now and see stop the violence on people's fucking little fences and little signs and stuff. Put down the guns and this, that, and the other. I do feel like we are really just now hitting that point of, and it's not everywhere. No, we don't care like we should, for sure. But I think we're definitely there now. We're definitely there where the point of the violence, the babies getting killed, these young kids out here with their mind isn't developed fully, but they out here banging and taking lives, getting their lives taken. It's starting to hit home a lot. And I definitely feel like that is a lot of the outcry. But how do we bring more attention to that as they do the police shootings? Because I see it out there.
They don't.
Why do you think we're not consistent in the fight for a better life or for a better community?
It starts at home. I think our problem starts watching mom and her sisters, mom and her brothers, grandmama treating this one kind of way compared to this one. Materialism. I think materialism is what got us to this point. Mm-hmm. Having a color TV, having furniture, having clothes, having shoes. I think materialism superseded everything.
And you don't believe karma is a real thing?
Mm-mm. No, I don't.
Isn't karma the manifestation of energy you put out and then comes back to you? You don't believe that?
I've done some things I should have paid for, and I'm still waiting. So this is what gets me about karma. I've never heard somebody say, man, karma got me. I've never heard nobody say, yeah, I got my karma.
But karma hits you in a different way, don't it? I mean, couldn't karma hit
I've never heard nobody say karma have gotten them.
Right.
Including myself. I always heard people say what karma is gonna do when you do bad. I've never heard nobody in my 47 years, I'll be 47 tomorrow, I've never heard nobody say, hey, you're gonna get good karma for what you do good. It's always if you do something bad. So people only remind you about karma when you do bad.
I hear you, C-Dub. I'm feeling like this is just character, or maybe you just had some certain experiences out there in Texas. Cause I done been out there myself, but I've definitely had a lot of people in life tell me that there was good karma as well as bad karma. I personally don't believe in karma. I definitely believe in energy, but I don't believe in karma per se. But I've definitely been told that good things were gonna come to me because of the things that I've done. Been told that bad things were gonna come as well, but I can't agree with you on that one. How about y'all? Have you ever had anybody tell you that there was good karma, or if you always received the karma on the bad side?
They never say, man, you're gonna win the lottery for that's gonna be your karma. So I never heard nobody say that. So it's my belief karma got to be bullshit. Because if karma is real, who gonna pay karma for slavery?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Who's gonna get karma for Tamir Rice? Mm-hmm. George Zimmerman was shot at. Not one bullet hit him. When do karma get him? And he has a lawsuit against Trayvon Martin's parents. He sold the Skittles. He sold a gun. Men, when? Where's karma? Mm-hmm. What about America? What America's done to other countries in the form of war? What America done to Japan? When is karma? When?
Right. But doesn't that require all of us as a nation or all of us as a people to want to see the good karma or to see the reparations, for the lack of better words? Because I want to see a better world, which is why I'm running for office, why I'm choosing to use my platform to do it. But don't we all have to collectively do that?
Sure we do, Jason. I watched you go climb a fence.
Facts.
How many people?
And keep my Air Force
Come
Ones
on,
white
I was
too.
just about to say, how many people come from your position? You got to climb down from your high horse to do that.
Yeah.
How many people go climb down from their high horse to do that?
Right.
How many people is going to get out of prison and then go back to prison and try to help somebody get out of prison? How many people is going to make it out the ghetto, come back to the ghetto to try to teach other people how to make it out and might get robbed? So you have to take that risk, right? You have to you became that change. Collectively, I don't think we're gonna do that.
Right. Well, I mean, for me, I had already achieved all the things I thought I want. I mean, I did want them and I still want them and I want more of it, but none of it made me happy. You know, I think what makes me happy is being able to go back and live in my community again and see my community change. But I don't know how to break through how to pierce through this this need for validation by whiteness or brands to do it.
My mother made it out the ghetto, so I didn't have no business in my mind going back trying to help in the ghetto. Yeah, I was born in Stop 6. Yeah, I kind of grew up there, but I wasn't raised in the ghetto. I wasn't raised in the hood. So why I need to be in the hood? Well, based on what I've been through in life, I chose to work with at-risk children. So by me wanting to work with at-risk children, it's not like they don't have at-risk children in middle-class neighborhoods where I grew up at. That's where I believe the purpose was. The least of those, the people who got the least of the help, the people who get the least of the resources, the people who get the least of, so that's where I went, to the least of those, the bottom. So, and I connected. But many people don't go to the bottom. They might go to the grassroots. They might go to the surface, but they don't go to the core. Mm-hmm. You're unique. You went to the core. How many people are willing to do that, though?
Do you think sometimes our people are afraid of redemption? Because I know you're in LA, you've been vocal about what you think about Kobe. I don't think you see Kobe as a hero.
No.
And because he was charged with rape, he wasn't convicted, but he was charged. Is that why you don't see him as a hero? And didn't Kobe deserve redemption?
Yeah, he did. Everybody deserves redemption. He was accused, and that was it. He paid, settled, and that was it. And it was never spoken of again. And I think that's unfair. Yeah, I think that's unfair.
I ain't never heard nobody speak bad of Kobe after Kobe passed away. Rest in peace, Mamba. But once you take the fame and everything away from the situation, fame changes the way you see a person, in my eyes. Because it's like, they famous. So you don't even see them like a regular person. You know what I'm saying? Like, your homeboy can do something that this famous nigga do, but it's kind of different when the famous nigga do it. You know what I'm saying?
Never got the answer for it. Mm-hmm. Not to the people who say he's a hero. And so, when you look at how he and the others died, every helicopter was given an order to remain on the ground, except his. Privilege. But me as a father and me as a man, ain't no helicopter flying. Man, we ain't finna go nowhere. Hell no, we ain't finna go up there. No visibility.
But you don't blame Kobe for his death.
You think that pilot drove without him saying yeah?
I think the pilot said we shouldn't fly.
The pilot said we shouldn't fly. Who said we should? Who in there could override the pilot?
Well, nobody should have overrode
No,
the pilot.
I'm just saying, if the pilot is on record saying we shouldn't fly, then somebody else said let's fly. Then whoever said let's fly is the cause of that death, if we're gonna be honest.
Right. And so even with the world grief and the loss of Kobe, you don't feel like he deserves that?
What, to be grieved?
Yeah. Or to be revered as a hero?
Yeah. The drunk driver who died in the car wreck deserved to be grieved for driving drunk and killing somebody and him dying. Yeah, he deserved to be grieved. But the truth is the truth. There's a cause and effect. What's the cause? And then what was the effect? But because we're in our emotions, and for whatever reason, people believe that you can't speak on death. You can't speak on people when they die. Man, I come from a culture that if this was a hoe in the casket, we don't act like she was a saint while we preach her funeral. This was a hoe. If this nigga was a gangbanging killer, we don't preach like he going to hell. This nigga might go to hell. And you got to be honest. And I think what happens when people die, people don't want to be honest anymore. You can't talk about the dead. Says who?
But ain't it wrong to talk about the dead?
Ain't it wrong to talk about the living?
But at least they're alive to respond to it.
Well, the dead can't hear us, so what does it matter? Who is hurting if the dead can't hear us?
The people who loved him.
They talked about him when he was alive.
But they don't talk about him now that he's dead.
Who say you can't talk about the dead? See, there's clear instructions. Whatever religious belief you believe.
Are we supposed to honor the dead?
I don't think so. I think that's Halloween type shit. I think you're supposed to honor your mother and thy father. So how can you honor the dead but not honor thy mother and thy father?
But two truths
To say about that one?
can exist at the same time.
But people more disrespectful to their parents, but more consistently to honor the dead.
Didn't you disrespect King Von when he died?
I did. Because I found out he was a serial killer.
Was he?
Anytime you kill 2 or 3 people, you consider a serial killer. So the culture had him deemed as a serial killer. From the lyrics to everybody said that he's a serial killer. He killed 3, 4 people. So I'm saying, nigga, fuck him, man, kill 3, 4 people. Black people too. So I didn't know. When I learned about King Von, I didn't know nothing about the King Vons, the Dirk. So I was just starting to learn about them.
Okay.
So, and how I found out about them is from working with kids. So part of my connection with children is I have a 16-week curriculum that's called a street life cycle, right? And so I have a facilitator's manual where I teach how to connect with a kid. You find out who a kid's favorite rapper is, you damn near got you a friend. Say, man, who your favorite rapper? So you go find out, research the rapper, listen to some lyrics, and come back and be like, God damn, you listen to him, man. Now they talk about a killing nigga. Shit, why you like him? So now you got something to bond with. So that's how I would find out about certain rappers. Like, God damn, man, you like this nigga. All he talk about is killing. So.
And these rappers have a stronghold on the kids.
What? This what I know. The rappers are mimicking real street guys, right? Because ultimately, the streets have been mimicked by the hip hop culture, right? So you got the rap niggas mimicking the killers, mimicking the drug dealers, whether they it or not. But you got the kids mimicking the rappers. They really don't know the consequences to what the rappers are mimicking, right? They don't know you shoot somebody, you might not ever come home. They think they might not get caught. So I attack not the individual, but the rapper, because to me, the rapper is a persona. He's not a person. Now, if I say, fuck Sean Carter, I'm attacking a person, but Jay-Z is a persona.
So when you're saying fuck King Von in his
I'm
death,
saying fuck that killer persona that's being propagated and projected to us as a culture. Because to this day, I still don't know his real name.
I don't need that. But when you're saying fuck that nigga, you're saying that is the nigga the persona or him?
The persona.
Okay.
But
people can't deconstruct.
That's why I'm doing that, to deconstruct. Mm-hmm. Because there was a time we deconstruct. You know why? We had Fab Five Freddy. on Yo MTV Raps.
Okay, now you're dating us again. Nobody.
Man, come on, Fab Five Freddy, go put that. So you got to see the personality of these people.
Yeah.
You got Big Tigger, Rap City in the basement.
I invite a lot of the rappers here. Only NLE Choppa and DDG have put up. I think the rappers are scared to sit down and have a real conversation.
Because
Oh, yeah.